So after that, I think we had Bobby Roode versus Andrade Cien Almas, who is still struggling. He got out of a pretty not deplorable, but a pretty disappointing reaction. Not that I was expecting cheers or anything, just not that people don't care about the guy. It's just, as of right now, nothing about him makes him stand out, because he's a great wrestler, but sure, so is Norm Dar, so is Grand Metalik, so is Brian Kendrick, and those guys could, get much more of a reaction than Andrade almost does. Maybe it's a lack of mask. I'm not exactly sure what the issue is. We've talked about this before time and time again in hashtag Ask Your Sam here on this show. He's a really good wrestler, but it's just something is not connecting character-wise, at least not right now. So I don't know if you have to turn him heel, do away with the dumb suspenders and the stupid fedora hat. I don't know what you have to do, but right now he's just not clicking. On the bright side, he and Bobby Roode did have a good match. Not a blow-away bout by any means, but a good match. But one of the highlights of the night was not the match itself, certainly not Bobby Roode's finisher, the pump handle slam, which they're calling the Glorious Bomb, kind of capitalizing off the momentum of the Glorious Twitter presented by Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, which are hilarious, by the way. But that was not a good finisher. He needs to change that, use the finisher that he used in TNA, whatever the hell it was. The highlight of this match, / the night, for me anyway, was his entrance. And the guy comes out like a freaking god. He is an absolute god when he comes out. Just from the way that he came down from that platform, and he turned around and he looked at the screen, his name appeared on the screen, and the place was sing along with his theme song, which caught fire as soon as it was released on YouTube. The night of his appearance, I remember he debuted on NXT a few weeks ago, and literally the same night that he debuted, that same exact night, they put the theme up on WWE's Music YouTube channel, and I don't know how many hits it has now, but it's pretty up there. It's a pretty popular song, to say the least. But man, I'm sure there's a clip. I know there's a clip of me talking about it here on the show from about 2 or so years ago, about how Bobby Roode is an absolute star, how he would flourish as a babyface, and he is a good babyface, but the guy is an absolute money heel, and I'm so glad they brought him into NXT as a heel from the get-go, because NXT needs heels. They have Aries, they have Joe for right now, and now they have Roode, so that's 3 solid top heels, for the time being anyway. The guy just is a star, and I don't say that about many people. I say it about Balor, I say it about Sasha Banks from time to time. There's just very few people on this current landscape of WWE that, reek of stardom like Brock Lesnar does. That guy is a star. He has that mystique about him. I'm not saying, Nakamura is a star. And now Bobby Roode can be in that same conversation. The guy just has untapped potential, and he's super, super good. Not to say that potential wasn't tapped in TNA, and I think that it came to a point, not that TNA was underutilizing Bobby Roode, they knew how to utilize him. The guy broke out as a single star in late 2011. He was one of my favorite parts of the program throughout 2012, throughout his longest reigning, TNA World Heavyweight Championship reign in history, and the great matches he had with AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Rob Van Dam, Mr. Anderson, Sting, he is Bobby Roode, but James Storm, all the rest, really stuck out to me as, wow, this guy can go, he's a great worker, and this guy belongs in WWE. He is just a WWE-made guy. I know TNA can build their company around this guy, and they tried to at several points, but just it got to a point where he had done everything, both as a babyface, as a heel. He had won the World Championship twice. He'd been Tag Team Champion a few times. He had pretty much done it all. So when he left the company earlier this year during the midst of his Beer Money reunion, which was the last thing I pretty much wanted to see him partake in TNA, I was happy because I knew that he was NXT bound before long, and he finally came over. And again, we talked about it here on the show earlier this year how NXT must sign Bobby Roode, and they did. They made the right choice because right now he might be, other than Shinsuke Nakamura, the hottest thing going in that promotion at the moment. And I cannot wait for the time when he and Nakamura go one-on-one for that NXT championship, because it's going to be a blockbuster. So a good match. Not so good of a finisher anyway. I'm glad Bobby Roode won. The finisher wasn't that great. The entrance was absolutely a spectacle, to say the least.